David, did you hear that? Yeah.
I had a question about whether the adaptation of Shakespeare here, putting a woman in the role of Prospero, changing her to Prospero, has a political side to it, perhaps?
Not for me. That wasn't the intention at all. There was no mission, period. The idea of having a female wasn't really an idea of having a female. It was, I'd like Helen Mirren to play Prospero. And I was going to do it with the male, and I didn't really have a male actor in mind that excited me as much as my desire to work with Helen Mirren. And there are only a few of these Shakespeare plays that we both agreed. She had wanted to do it too. When we met each other, I was very quiet about it, and then she said, you know, we were talking about Titus and how few roles there are for women of her age in Shakespeare. And she said, you know, I could play Prospero as a woman. And I just said, do you want to? Because I'd already been thinking about it and working on it, and wasn't ready to offer it to her yet. And at that moment I said, well, let's do it. And she said, in the theater? I said, no, as film. And then we had to raise money. We had already were on our way, and then we did the reading to see if it would work. I feel that Shakespeare, well, let me back up a second. When I did the research on this, after directing it 2 or 3 times in the theater, I say 2 or 3 because one wasn't behind the scenes of how to do theater. It wasn't a full production, it was for PBS. The speech of Prospero, where she says, she makes the ring of fire and she says, yells at hills, dales, standing brooks and groves. You know, I have the dim the moon's outside. She renounces, she finishes the fire and then renounces her magic. That speech is a direct lift from Medea. Shakespeare just lifted it. And I was utterly, surprisingly, wonderfully shocked that that is a female speech, that it comes from a sorceress, originally. And people, this is very acknowledged in all the research on the Tempest, that speech is not original, that he only slightly changed the words. So when we started to look at this play, we realized that it does work with a female in that role. It does bring up other things. The mother-daughter relationship is very different than a father-daughter relationship, because when she has this young Prince Ferdinand and she's testing him, it's not because of her, you know, competition with him, it's because she knows her daughter can get hurt, because she is protecting her daughter. It's not the male, the cliched male. I mean, not that it has to be this when you do it with a male, so please don't think that it has to be this reductive, but he's not going, this is my daughter, and now I've got this young male coming to woo her and take her away from me. It's very different. And I think that a lot of the elements that come from having Helen play this or a female play it, it has to be in the performance. There's no, I don't think there was any mission on our part. It was just another revelation of a great Shakespeare play that works, a great Shakespeare play that works, putting a woman in the role.